What would actually happen to you on every planet? One planet rains acid, another has winds faster than sound, one moon may hide an ocean filled with life, and one planet could crush your body instantly. What would it be like if we stepped foot on each planet? Mercury, Mercury looks small and lifeless from space, but stepping onto it would be one of the most horrifying experiences imaginable. Even though Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun, it's not actually the hottest planet in the solar system. But that doesn't make it safe. During the daytime, temperatures on Mercury can rise above 800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt lead. But at night, the temperature crashes to almost negative 300 degrees. Mercury has almost no atmosphere to trap heat, so that means the temperatures swing rapidly from hot to freezing when the sun sets. If you somehow stood on Mercury during the day, the sunlight would appear over 7 times brighter than it does on Earth. Sunglasses wouldn't save your eyes, it would still be too bright. The sun would look absolutely enormous in the sky because it's so much closer compared to here on Earth. But the heat wouldn't kill you instantly. The real danger would come from radiation and the brutal environment around you. Mercury is constantly blasted by solar radiation and charged particles from the sun. Without a thick atmosphere or strong magnetic protection like Earth has, your body would be exposed to deadly levels of radiation. The ground would look like a giant burned desert stretching forever and filled with craters from ancient meteor impacts. And because Mercury rotates so slowly, one single day on the planet lasts about 176 Earth days. Imagine how long each day would feel between sunrise and sunset. But somehow, despite the scorching heat in the daytime, Mercury still contains ice hidden deep inside craters near its poles, where sunlight never reaches. It's a burning planet, with frozen ice. Venus? Venus may look beautiful in the night sky, but if you stepped foot on it, it would become one of the most horrifying places imaginable. At first glance, Venus is often called Earth's twin because it's almost the same size as our planet. But that's where the similarities end. The moment you get there, you wouldn't see blue skies or oceans. You'd see a thick yellow-orange atmosphere filled with toxic clouds of sulfuric acid. Because of this, Venus literally rains acid. But somehow that's not even the worst part. The surface temperature on Venus reaches nearly 900 degrees Fahrenheit, making it hotter than Mercury, even though Mercury is much closer to the sun. The reason Venus became this nightmare world is because of a runaway greenhouse effect. Its atmosphere traps heat so efficiently that the entire planet basically turned into a giant pressure cooker. And speaking of pressure, the atmospheric pressure on Venus is over 90 times stronger than Earth's. Stepping onto Venus would feel like being nearly a mile underwater. Your body wouldn't just burn, you'd be crushed by all the pressure. Even the strongest spacecraft humans have ever sent to Venus survived only minutes before being destroyed by the brutal environment, and the sky itself would barely be visible. The atmosphere is so thick that sunlight struggles to penetrate through the clouds, creating a dim, eerie orange glow across a world covered in volcanic plains and shattered rock. But Venus gets even stranger. Unlike most planets, Venus actually spins backwards. On Venus, the sun would rise in the west and set in the east. Scientists also believe Venus may once have had oceans billions of years ago before its climate spiraled completely out of control. Mars. Mars is the planet humans dream about colonizing. But if you actually stepped onto its surface, the reality would be far more terrifying than most people imagine. At first glance, Mars might almost feel familiar. It has mountains, deserts, polar ice caps, and even seasons like Earth. But Mars is a frozen wasteland. The average temperature is around negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to freeze exposed skin almost instantly. And because the atmosphere is over 100 times thinner than Earth's, you couldn't breathe there for even a few seconds without a spacesuit. The skies are reddish-orange from the endless iron-rich dust covering the planet, and that dust creates some of the largest storms in the entire solar system. Mars experiences giant dust storms so massive they can cover the entire planet for months at a time, blocking sunlight and turning the sky nearly black. Some of these storms are powerful enough to swallow mountains. But Mars wasn't always this dead. Scientists believe billions of years ago, Mars may have had rivers, lakes, and even massive oceans flowing across its surface. There's evidence of ancient shorelines carved into the landscape, suggesting Mars may once have looked far more like Earth than it does today, which raises a huge mystery. What happened? Many scientists think Mars lost its magnetic field long ago, allowing solar radiation to slowly strip away its atmosphere over millions of years. And without that protection, the planet froze into the desert world we see today. Mars also has weaker gravity than Earth, only about 38% as strong. If you stood there, you'd weigh far less and could jump much higher than on Earth. 100 pounds would only feel like 38 pounds there. But despite all the dangers, Mars may still be the best chance humanity has for becoming a multi-planet species. Because underneath its frozen surface, scientists believe liquid water may still exist even today. A dead world that might still be hiding the ingredients for life. Jupiter. Jupiter is so massive that every other planet in our solar system could fit inside it. But if you tried stepping foot on Jupiter, you'd quickly realize something terrifying. You can't. Jupiter isn't a normal planet with a solid surface like Earth or Mars. It's a giant ball of gas made mostly of hydrogen and helium, stretching nearly 90,000 miles across. If you somehow fell into Jupiter's atmosphere, you wouldn't land anywhere. You would just keep sinking deeper and deeper into darkness, never reaching a solid surface. At first, the clouds might almost look beautiful from a distance. Huge swirling bands wrap around the planet, driven by winds reaching over 400 miles per hour. But hidden inside those clouds are storms unlike anything humans have ever seen. The most famous is the Great Red Spot. It's a gigantic hurricane that has been raging for centuries. It's so large, Earth could fit inside of it. As you descended deeper into Jupiter, the pressure would rapidly begin crushing you. The atmosphere grows thicker and denser the farther down you go, and temperatures rise to thousands of degrees. Eventually, the pressure becomes so intense that hydrogen gas is squeezed into something almost unimaginable: liquid metallic hydrogen. Scientists believe this strange material behaves like an ocean of liquid metal, capable of conducting electricity. Deep inside Jupiter, this metallic hydrogen may help generate the planet's unbelievably powerful magnetic field. It's the strongest of any planet in the solar system. That magnetic field traps deadly radiation around Jupiter like a giant invisible shield. The radiation near Jupiter is so extreme that it could kill an unprotected human in minutes. And it gets even more strange. Scientists believe Jupiter may not even have a true core like Earth. Instead, deep beneath the crushing atmosphere could be a giant center made of superheated material under unimaginable pressure. A planet with no surface, storms larger than worlds, oceans of metallic hydrogen, and gravity so powerful it helps shape the entire solar system itself. Jupiter isn't just another planet. It's a monster hiding in plain sight. Saturn. Saturn may be the most beautiful planet in our solar system, but getting anywhere near it would be a terrifying experience. From a distance, Saturn almost looks peaceful, with its massive glowing rings stretching thousands of miles across space. But beneath that beauty hides one of the most violent worlds imaginable. Like Jupiter, Saturn is a gas giant, which means you couldn't stand on it if you tried. There's no solid ground to stand on. Saturn's atmosphere is mostly just hydrogen and helium, and Saturn's winds are absolutely insane. Some storms race through the atmosphere at over 1,000 miles per hour. The deeper you descended into it, the hotter and denser the planet would become, until the pressure eventually crushed both you and your spacecraft completely. But Saturn also has one of the strangest theories in the solar system. Scientists say Saturn is actually less dense than water, meaning if you could somehow find an ocean large enough to put Saturn in it, it would float like a giant beach ball. Surrounding Saturn are over 100 moons, including one of the most fascinating places humans have ever discovered: Titan. Titan is larger than the planet Mercury and is the only moon in the solar system with a thick atmosphere. But instead of water, Titan has rivers, lakes, and rain made from liquid methane and ethane. It's an alien world that almost looks strangely Earth-like. Some scientists even believe Titan could potentially support forms of life very different from anything we know. And Saturn's famous rings may not last forever. Scientists believe the rings are slowly being pulled into the planet and could disappear completely millions of years from now. A giant planet with impossible winds, rings that may vanish, and moons hiding alien oceans and methane rain. Saturn may look calm from Earth, but it's one of the strangest worlds we've ever found. Uranus. Uranus may look calm and peaceful from space, but it's one of the strangest planets in the entire solar system. First of all, Uranus doesn't rotate like the other planets. It spins completely sideways. Scientists believe something enormous may have slammed into Uranus billions of years ago, knocking the entire planet onto its side. Because of this, its seasons are completely extreme. Some parts of the planet experience decades of nonstop sunlight, followed by decades of darkness. Imagine spending half of your life living in darkness and the other half living only in sunlight. If you tried stepping foot on Uranus, you'd quickly discover there's nowhere to stand. Like Jupiter and Saturn, Uranus is a giant planet made mostly of gas and icy fluids. As you descended into the atmosphere, you'd sink through freezing clouds made of hydrogen, helium, and methane. That methane is what gives Uranus its strange blue-green color. Uranus is actually one of the coldest planets ever discovered. Temperatures can drop to nearly negative 370 degrees Fahrenheit. The freezing atmosphere would instantly kill an unprotected human, and deeper below the clouds, the pressure would become unimaginable. Scientists believe the inside of Uranus may contain superheated oceans of water, ammonia, and methane crushed under enormous pressure. Some researchers even think it could rain diamonds deep inside the planet. But it gets even weirder. Its magnetic field is completely strange compared to other planets. Instead of being centered normally, Uranus's magnetic field is tilted and off-center, creating chaotic magnetic storms throughout the planet. We still aren't fully sure why it behaves this way. A frozen sideways world with invisible magnetic chaos, possible diamond rain, and decades-long seasons of darkness. Neptune? Neptune is the farthest major planet from the Sun and one of the most violent worlds humans have ever discovered. From Earth, Neptune looks calm, a deep blue planet floating silently in darkness. But if you somehow traveled there and tried stepping foot on it, you'd enter a freezing nightmare. Like Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, Neptune doesn't have a solid surface you could stand on. It's a giant world made mostly of gas and icy fluids. As you descended into the atmosphere, temperatures would plunge to nearly negative 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The sunlight that reaches Neptune is incredibly weak, almost 1,000 times dimmer than sunlight on Earth, making the planet feel eerily dark and cold. Along with those freezing temperatures, Neptune produces some of the fastest winds in the entire solar system. Winds there can reach over 1,200 miles per hour, faster than the speed of sound on Earth. Massive dark storms swirl through the atmosphere like giant hurricanes, including mysterious systems scientists call dark spots. Some of these storms are as large as the size of Earth itself, and nobody fully understands how Neptune creates such powerful weather while receiving so little heat from the sun. What is causing these massive storms? The deeper you sank into Neptune, the pressure would become crushing beyond imagination. Scientists believe deep inside the planet may exist a superheated icy mantle made of water, ammonia, and methane under enormous pressure. Some researchers even believe Neptune could experience diamond rain deep below the clouds, where carbon atoms are compressed into solid diamonds that fall through the planet's interior. A frozen world with supersonic winds, planet-sized storms, and possible rain made of diamonds. Neptune may sit at the edge of our solar system, but it's far from peaceful. Earth. After looking at the terrifying storms of Jupiter, the crushing heat of Venus, and the frozen deserts of Mars, Earth starts to feel almost impossible. Because out of every planet we've discovered so far, Earth may be one of the only worlds perfectly designed for life. From space, Earth glows blue because nearly 70% of its surface is covered in liquid oceans. And liquid water changes everything. Water helps regulate temperature, shape weather, and support millions of different forms of life across the planet. But Earth's oceans are only part of what makes this world so rare. Our atmosphere contains oxygen, something incredibly unusual in the universe. Every breath you take is possible because billions of tiny organisms transformed Earth's atmosphere over millions of years. And surrounding all of us is an invisible shield most people never think about: Earth's magnetic field. Deep inside our planet, molten metal moves around Earth's core, generating a magnetic field powerful enough to deflect dangerous solar radiation from the sun. Without it, Earth could have become another dead world like Mars. And somehow, Earth also exists in what scientists call the Goldilocks zone, the perfect distance from the sun where temperatures allow liquid water to exist. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. The more scientists study the universe, the stranger Earth begins to look. A planet with breathable air, liquid oceans, life in nearly every environment imaginable, in conditions so perfectly balanced that they allowed human civilization to exist at all. Out of every world we've discovered, Earth may still be the rarest one of all.